So Polaris launches a 2021 Rzr lineup today, along with a couple leak photos that show us that they're ready to take the side-by-side industry to a whole new level. Let's get into it. So Polaris has a huge model offering here for model year 2021. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about some of the upgrades that they made. And then of course, last and certainly not least, we'll speculate on these leaked photos that's got the internet going crazy. So the Rzr lineup's really big this year. And I noticed when on the website, there's different sections. There's trail, there's extreme performance, and then there is wide open. Now wide open is where the Turbo S models are classified. And I guess it makes sense as it's their only Rzr models so far that are offered in a 72-inch wide, but it also kind of lets us know, or kind of makes the customer think that this is their top dog model for nasty terrain, which we agree with. Being here in the Southwest, wider is better. But it gets a little convoluted because of course the Pro XP is their top level, brand new, most high performing vehicle in the lineup. So what's interesting in mentioning all of this is that I thought Polaris would launch the Pro model in some 72-inch flavors. They would get rid of the Turbo S lineup, then they would keep the older existing XP 1000 and Turbo lineup, because at a certain point we've got so many models, it's so hard for dealers to stock all the different models and all the colors, especially when they can stock multiple brands like CanAm, and it might get a little bit confusing even for us to explain to one customer this is why you should buy a Turbo S over a 72-inch Pro. But we don't have to worry about that because all the Pro models are going to stick at a 64-inch width for now. So when you look on the website, you see a bunch of new colors, basically a bold new graphics, but there have been some enhancements and updates, and we'll get into those. Let's start off with the Pro XP. So it's good to see Polaris make a few running changes. I didn't really see any price increases, but nice to see some more value added in for us future buyers to get more for our money. So starting off, they updated the tender springs. So most of you guys know these have either come collapsed from the factory or they're just low quality springs. Here at Chupacabra, we're huge fans of upgrading your suspension, better springs, better valving. No matter what side-by-side you get, we pretty much suggest that you should budget for that because it can drastically enhance the quality of your ride. But it's good to see that Polaris either went with a higher quality tender spring or at least a better spring rate, so it's not going to sag its ride height after a few hundred miles like we've seen with a lot of models in the past. The stock wheels have a new design, which looks pretty clean for a stock wheel, and they're also 18% lighter, so nice little value add. And the audio for the Rockford Fosgate has been updated where it's going to perform better. They claim that it's 2.5 times louder, has more tunability, and better overall sound quality. So for those of you that are interested in the higher end model with the built-in audio, this is nice news from a reputable top brand like Rockford Fosgate. In addition to the audio being increased, they've also updated the ride command. Like the update we talked about on a previous video on our channel, there's some cool updates that allow you to kind of customize the gauge cluster, and it also sounds like they've enhanced the ride along feature of a group where a leader can have other members in the Ride Command app or group easily follow along. So nice to see that they keep iterating on Ride Command. When it came out, it definitely had some issues. It's cool to see that they keep making it better each year. They mentioned that there is an improved clutch alignment, which a lot of us saw some photos running around as soon as the Pro was released of guys blowing up clutches, some weird issues. I don't think it was a huge problem from what I heard, but either way, it sounds to me like they've addressed that there might have been an issue that they corrected for production, and it's better now, so hopefully some of those issues with the clutching should be a thing of the past. They did some better door bumpers, and this is a little baffling because all the previous Pro XP models from 1000 newer have really great doors and a great latch system that just works well and it never vibrates or rattles. Well, when I saw the Pro XP was released, there was this chintzy little bumper that would easily fall off. It just seemed like a cost-cutting measure, and now they're having to update it again. So at least it's updated, but it's kind of a head scratcher why it kind of got downgraded from the existing Rzr in the past, but either way, they got it resolved here for 2021. And one cool little feature on all 2021 Rzrs is there is a trickle charge port in the dash. So that just makes it really easy to plug in and preserve your battery life. Like a lot of us in the Southwest, sometimes we'll take a break from riding when it gets hot, what have you, but it's nice to know that we can kind of very easily get in to keep our batteries charged. So nice touch, Polaris. Okay, moving on to the Turbo S and Turbo models, not the 1000. It's nice to see that they have updated these models to the Pro XP clutches. Now, if you've been following the channel, you'll notice that we purchased a new transmission and clutches for our race car because we'd heard so much good about them. The system just simply works a lot better. It uses the existing same belt for a Rzr Turbo S, but it cools much better, lower belt temps, all the people who are fast in terms of Polaris on the racing front are all using this transmission. Very few belt failures reported compared to the past. So to me, it's just a step up in terms of technology, and kudos to Polaris for making this happen. So if you're talking 168 horsepower or more, your 64-inch turbo as well as the Turbo S, this is a really nice welcome addition and definitely worth something considering if you're looking at a leftover 2020 or a used model versus going new in 2021. It's a nice value add. So 2 thumbs up, Polaris. All right, guys, so we cannot make this video without talking about these leaked photos. Were they leaked on purpose? I don't know, but either way, they're very exciting. They're very exciting to me because they look like the vehicle's already production ready. If you guys remember, a lot of leaked prototype photos were running around on the internet last year of these vehicles being tested out in the desert, let's say Standard Wash and Havasu Parker. But either way, we saw a couple things that were really exciting. 5 lugs on the hubs. Suspension of the front suspension, the lower shock mounts mounted on the lower A-arm, and most importantly, a new motor and what appeared to be a non-CVT transmission. So now we're seeing photos, like I said, either leaked intentionally or not. The vehicle looks production ready, already in the photo shoot. All these other vehicles are in, which means Polaris has it ready to go. It's just a matter of when they have it. Maybe COVID has caused some delays with some supplier issues, but this thing is production ready. And you know, first glance, first off, the roll cage looks really cool. It's got a huge radius, but it looks much better than any other production Rzr, which is really exciting. And then when you look at the side profile photo here, you can definitely tell that it's got a big motor sandwiched in it. And my guess is that it is the 2.0 liter motor out of the Slingshot. Now that motor in the stock Slingshot revs up to 8,500 RPMs and puts out 203 horsepower. So a lot of us thought that the UTVs side-by-sides would never go above 1,000 cc's. Well, Polaris is about ready to say, yeah, well, we are. And so what are you gonna do to the rest of the industry? So this is really exciting. This is game changer. You know, the game changer thing gets thrown around way too much, and I would say it probably is a game changer because even if it does have a CVT trans, we have gone to a new level. We've gone to a size of a motor of an actual car or a dune buggy sand rail. That's going to change the classification of this vehicle in many states. Who knows? It might be street legal in some states with the right requirements like windshields and mirrors. There's so much to speculate, and I don't really know at that point, but it does make sense that Polaris would develop this ProStar motor for the Rzr. Now, Polaris sells Slingshots. They don't really sell that many of them. I think they sell enough to keep them in production, but you know, they might sell 5,000 to 7,500 units a year tops. So it would make sense for Polaris to invest all this money in a motor that would see its way into the off-road line. So all of you tuners, I mean, I'm sure everyone's really excited. What can we do horsepower-wise? What's the base horsepower going to be? What's it going to be after it gets turboed? I mean, guys, this is crossing a whole nother bridge we've never seen. So kudos to Polaris. You know, we're really excited. We've all known Polaris is the giant. You know, made a lot of videos saying, hey, we think CanAm's on top. Well, I think this is something to show that Polaris is saying, look, this is our game. We took it to the next level and we're here to take the throne back. So let the speculation begin, guys. It's really hard to tell from the photos if this has a CVT transmission or not. I'm assuming it will not have one, which is kind of weird for me to say because this is a company that was bred from the snowmobile industry. Polaris knows CVTs better than anybody. They are amazing at being very practical and pragmatic. That's why their ATVs have gone from being something that no one would consider to the #1 selling ATV in the country. The CVT works really well in a lot of these applications, and if there's anybody that can figure out how to make the CVT work, I do think it could be Polaris, even though they've had some issues in the past with some of the Rzr models. So I'll let you guys speculate below in the comments. I don't know. My 2 cents is it's going to be a full transmission, but guys, you want all this technology, be ready for a big price point. I can guarantee this is going to be the most expensive Rzr, probably the most expensive side-by-side on the market, and it is what it is. So, you know, you can't expect all this technology without expecting the price to go up, and I think that's gonna lead into what the transmission will be. Maybe they'll launch 2 versions, who knows? But it's really exciting, and we'll see what they come out with when they make the official announcement here, which I'm assuming is going to be in the next few months. Speaking of price, guys, you know, I know a lot of comments all over the place. Hey, this market, these vehicles are getting so expensive, but I think if they're delivering the value, the customers will see. I think there's a lot of us that have been owning these vehicles, have been in off-road for quite a while, and if this vehicle is $36,000, $40,000, as long as it's delivering the value of what a comparably equipped $40,000 side-by-side would have with upgrades, the customers are going to be excited about it. We saw the same thing happen with CanAm releasing the X3 back in 2017. At that time, 4-seat Rzrs were going for 22, 23K, 27,000 on a 4-seat turbo. CanAm stepped the game up, sold their 4-seat X3 Max at $30,000, but it delivered so much value, 72-inch wide, essentially a stock long travel kit, had great power, had a stylish looking stock roll cage, great seats, and CanAm sold every single model they made. So that just goes to show you the customers have all really leveled up. We really all kind of understand what a $30,000 side-by-side will get us with upgrades. We all know the game. We have a good idea of what the value is, much more than we even did a couple years ago. So don't be too scared of the price. Don't get mad at Polaris for releasing an expensive car, because this is a step up in performance and technology that everybody's been asking for. So, you know, like I said, let's get excited about it. Let's not worry about the price until we know all the specs. So check out this photo of the vehicle from the front now. This gets me even more excited. You can see how wide this thing is. You can see that the lower A-arms are boxed and they're very beefy. You can see that the front shocks do in fact mount to the lower A-arm. If you look really closely, you can see that the lower shock mounts actually have the front drive shafts or axles going through them. So an interesting design. It's going to be really interesting to see how much beefier this vehicle is structurally. Of course, this is a huge selling point for the Speed UTV, and I've got a front suspension design similar to the Speed UTV. And I have to imagine they've got to beef everything up because the motor in general is going to be quite a bit heavier. So this thing looks really aggressive. The stock roll cage looks really good in my opinion. The thing looks amazing. So, you know, Polaris, everyone today on the internet could get mad that they just saw some bold new graphics, but these photos show us that, hey, Polaris is working on something really exciting. Please, I hope Polaris has a 4-seat version of this thing ready to go as well. And, you know, we'll see what the width measurements. It definitely looks wider than 72 inches right here, but it's hard to really tell with these photos. But again, the front looks really aggressive. The Pro XPs never look better. It's never looked more aggressive. I'm excited. It's game on, guys. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Let the speculation begin. Let's start it off down below in the comments. Are we going to see this thing at Camp Rzr? Is Camp Rzr even going to happen? I'm sure COVID's really kind of thrown a monkey wrench into what the marketing team wants to do for releasing the Pro R. In my opinion, I think this will see the light of day. It will get released this year. I don't know if it'll be Camp Rzr. It might be New Year's, somewhere in between. Maybe when they can get caught up and get some vehicles produced. I have heard due to COVID, there's been a lot of production issues for both CanAm and Polaris. So I think unfortunately a lot of customers looking for 2021 models are probably going to pay a little bit more than what they were used to, because it's going to be harder for these dealers to get enough units to satisfy the demand. And it's going to be hard for these manufacturers to spit them out. So we'll see how it goes. Let us know what you think below in the comments. Tune in next week. We're going to do a full breakdown comparing Polaris versus CanAm versus Speed. Who's going to be the king of this desert season as we roll into 2021. Thanks for watching. If you guys didn't know, we also make products. Check out our website, ChupacabraOffroad.com, or follow us here on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. See you on the next one.